Sarah Mitchell had always been different from other girls in her small Texas town. While her friends played with dolls and dreamed of wedding dresses, she spent her afternoons in the backyard with her grandfather, learning to handle rifles and understanding the mechanics of precision shooting. Her grandfather, a World War II veteran, had noticed her steady hands and sharp eyes when she was just 8 years old. He taught her that shooting wasn't about aggression or violence, but about discipline, focus, and respect for the weapon. Growing up on a ranch outside Austin, Sarah learned to shoot out of necessity first. Coyotes threatened their livestock, and her father worked long hours managing the property. Her mother had passed away when Sarah was 12, leaving her to take on responsibilities that most teenagers never faced. By the time she turned 16, she could hit a target at 300 yards with remarkable consistency. Her grandfather often said she had a natural gift that couldn't be taught, only refined. After graduating high school, Sarah made a decision that surprised everyone in her conservative community. Instead of attending the local community college or finding work in town, she announced her intention to join the Marines. Her father was supportive but worried, knowing the challenges she would face as a woman in a traditionally male-dominated field. Her friends thought she was making a mistake, giving up chances for a normal life with marriage and children. The recruitment process was grueling, but Sarah excelled in every physical and mental evaluation. Her shooting scores were so exceptional that they had to be verified multiple times. The recruitment officer, Sergeant Rodriguez, had seen many promising recruits, but Sarah's combination of technical skill and mental toughness stood out immediately. She didn't just hit targets, she understood ballistics, wind patterns, and the psychological aspects of marksmanship that separated good shooters from exceptional ones. Basic training at Parris Island was the most challenging experience of Sarah's life. The physical demands pushed her to limits she didn't know existed, but she refused to quit or ask for special consideration. She woke up at 4 a.m. to practice shooting before official training began, using visualization techniques her grandfather had taught her. While other recruits struggled with the transition from civilian to military life, Sarah thrived under the structure and discipline. Her drill instructors noticed her shooting abilities early, but they also tested her resolve in ways that went beyond normal training protocols. Some questioned whether a woman belonged in combat roles, using psychological pressure to try to break her confidence. Sarah responded by working harder, studying weapon systems in her spare time, and maintaining perfect scores on every shooting evaluation. She never complained or showed weakness, understanding that any sign of vulnerability would be used against her. During advanced marksmanship training, Sarah's reputation began to spread beyond her immediate unit. Stories circulated about the young woman who could consistently hit targets that challenged even experienced Marines. Her instructors were impressed but cautious, knowing that exceptional performance in training didn't always translate to real-world success. They pushed her harder, testing her abilities under stress, fatigue, and adverse conditions. The culture shock of military life was significant for someone from a small Texas town. Sarah had to adapt to living in close quarters with people from vastly different backgrounds, learning to navigate complex social dynamics while maintaining her focus on excellence. She made few close friends, preferring to keep relationships professional and goal-oriented. This approach earned her respect from some peers but also created distance that she would later regret. As her training progressed, Sarah began to hear about an elite training facility where the best shooters from all branches of the military came to hone their skills. The Marine Corps Mountain Warfare Training Center in California was legendary among marksmen, known for its challenging courses and unforgiving standards. Only the most exceptional Marines were invited to train there, and even fewer succeeded in completing the advanced programs. Sarah's commanding officers debated whether to recommend her for advanced training. Her technical skills were undeniable, but concerns remained about how she would perform in an environment dominated by seasoned male Marines who might not accept her presence. The decision would ultimately change the course of her military career and test everything she had learned about perseverance and self-belief. The recommendation came through on a Friday afternoon, delivered with a mixture of congratulations and warnings about what lay ahead. Sarah would be one of only 3 women among nearly 200 Marines attending the advanced marksmanship course. Her supervisors made it clear that she would face challenges beyond anything she had experienced, and that failure would reflect not just on her but on all women seeking similar opportunities. Sarah spent her leave time preparing mentally and physically for what everyone described as the most demanding shooting program in the military. She visited her grandfather one last time, seeking his wisdom about handling pressure and maintaining confidence in hostile environments. He reminded her that shooting was ultimately a conversation between the marksman and the target, requiring absolute focus and trust in her abilities. The flight to California represented more than just travel to a new training location. For Sarah, it was a journey toward proving that excellence had no gender, that dedication and skill could overcome prejudice and tradition. She carried with her the lessons learned from her grandfather, the discipline instilled through basic training, and an unshakable belief that she belonged wherever her abilities could take her. Arriving at the Mountain Warfare Training Center, Sarah immediately sensed the difference in atmosphere from her previous assignments. This was a place where reputations were made and broken, where the margin for error was essentially zero. The facility itself was intimidating, with ranges stretching across mountainous terrain and obstacles designed to test every aspect of marksmanship under extreme conditions. Her first glimpse of the other participants confirmed what she had expected but hoped to avoid. She was clearly an outsider in this brotherhood of seasoned Marines, most of whom had combat experience and established reputations. Their expressions ranged from skeptical curiosity to outright hostility, and she realized that her technical scores and recommendations would mean nothing until she proved herself under their scrutiny. The first week at the Mountain Warfare Training Center was designed to establish hierarchy and weed out Marines who couldn't handle the psychological pressure. Sarah quickly discovered that her technical qualifications meant little to the seasoned veterans who dominated the training environment. Staff Sergeant Marcus Thompson, a decorated combat veteran with multiple deployments, made his position clear during the opening briefing. He questioned whether resources should be wasted on participants who might not be suitable for actual combat situations. Sarah's assigned bunk was in a section with Marines who had years of operational experience. Their conversations revolved around combat deployments, firefights, and situations that Sarah had only read about in training manuals. She listened carefully, learning from their experiences while recognizing that they viewed her as an outsider who hadn't earned the right to participate in their discussions. The isolation was deliberate, designed to test her mental resilience. During the first range exercises, Sarah performed well but not exceptionally. The courses were designed to challenge even expert marksmen, incorporating elements like extreme distance shooting, moving targets, and adverse weather conditions. Her scores were solid, placing her in the top quarter of participants, but several Marines made pointed comments about standards being lowered to accommodate diversity initiatives. The implication was clear: they believed she was there because of her gender, not her abilities. Sergeant First Class Jake Morrison became the most vocal critic of Sarah's presence. A sniper with 3 combat tours, he had strong opinions about women in combat roles and wasn't subtle about expressing them. He questioned her during technical discussions, challenged her knowledge of advanced ballistics, and made comments designed to undermine her confidence. Morrison had influence among the other participants, and his attitude encouraged similar behavior from others. The harassment escalated during the second week when live-fire exercises began in earnest. Sarah found her equipment tampered with on multiple occasions, forcing her to recalibrate her rifle before each session. Her shooting positions were deliberately crowded by other Marines, creating unsafe conditions that forced range officers to intervene. The psychological warfare was sophisticated and designed to appear like normal competitive behavior rather than deliberate sabotage. Master Gunnery Sergeant Daniel Rodriguez, the senior instructor, observed these dynamics but initially chose not to intervene directly. A veteran of special operations with decades of experience, he had seen similar situations throughout his career. His philosophy was that exceptional Marines needed to prove themselves under adversity, and direct intervention might undermine the credibility that Sarah needed to establish. However, he watched carefully for any behavior that crossed lines into dangerous territory. Sarah's response to the harassment surprised many observers. Instead of complaining or seeking intervention from authority figures, she doubled down on her preparation and performance. She arrived at the range before anyone else, studied ballistics charts late into the evening, and maintained perfect discipline in her personal conduct. When equipment was sabotaged, she quietly fixed the problems and continued with her training. Her grandfather's lessons about maintaining focus under pressure proved invaluable. The turning point began during a particularly challenging exercise involving precision shooting at unknown distances in variable wind conditions. The course was designed to simulate real combat scenarios where marksmen had to make rapid calculations and adjustments while under stress. Most participants struggled with the technical demands, and several experienced Marines failed to achieve qualifying scores on their first attempts. Sarah approached the exercise methodically, using techniques her grandfather had taught her for reading wind patterns and estimating distances without technological aids. She took her time, ignoring comments and distractions from other participants, and applied everything she had learned about precision shooting under adverse conditions. Her performance was solid but not spectacular, earning respectful nods from some instructors but continued skepticism from her peers. The real test came during an exercise that had gained legendary status among Marines who had completed the advanced program. Known informally as the impossible shot, it required participants to engage a target at extreme distance under conditions designed to push technical abilities beyond normal limits. The target was positioned at over 1,000 yards in mountainous terrain with unpredictable wind patterns and minimal time for preparation. Historical records showed that fewer than 10% of participants successfully completed this exercise on their first attempt. Most required multiple tries, and some never achieved the required precision despite their experience and reputations. The exercise had become a benchmark that separated truly exceptional marksmen from those who were merely competent. Success required perfect integration of technical skill, mental discipline, and intuitive understanding of ballistics. Morrison and several other vocal critics made a point of completing their attempts early in the exercise rotation, achieving qualifying scores that reinforced their status as elite marksmen. Their success was accompanied by loud celebrations and pointed comments about the difference between real Marines and training programs designed for public relations purposes. The message was clear: they expected Sarah to fail and prove their point about women in combat roles. Sarah was scheduled for one of the final shooting positions, creating additional pressure as other participants gathered to observe her attempt. The conditions were particularly challenging, with gusting winds and changing light that made target acquisition difficult even for experienced spotters. Range officers provided minimal assistance, following protocols that required participants to demonstrate independent problem-solving abilities. Standing at the firing line, Sarah felt the weight of expectations and prejudices that had followed her throughout the training program. She thought about her grandfather's advice regarding pressure situations, remembering his words about the importance of breathing and maintaining mental clarity when everything was on the line. The target seemed impossibly small at such distance, barely visible even through high-powered optics. Her preparation was methodical and deliberate, taking time to read wind patterns and make precise adjustments to her scope. Other participants grew impatient with her careful approach, making comments about inexperience and overcaution. Sarah ignored the distractions, focusing entirely on the technical aspects of the shot and trusting her training and instincts to guide her actions. The moment of trigger pull represented months of preparation, years of training, and a lifetime of learning to overcome skepticism and opposition. Sarah controlled her breathing, aligned her sights perfectly, and made minute adjustments for wind and distance before slowly applying pressure to the trigger. The shot broke cleanly, sending the bullet across over 1,000 yards of challenging terrain toward a target that had defeated most of the Marines attempting the exercise. The silence that followed Sarah's shot stretched for what felt like an eternity. Range officers used high-powered spotting scopes to verify the impact point while participants waited for confirmation. Sarah remained in her shooting position, maintaining discipline even as her heart raced with anticipation. She had felt the shot break perfectly, with all elements coming together in a moment of technical precision that couldn't be replicated through luck or chance. Master Gunnery Sergeant Rodriguez examined the target through his scope, checking the impact point multiple times before announcing the results. The bullet had struck dead center, achieving a perfect score on an exercise that had challenged some of the most experienced marksmen in the Marine Corps. The announcement was met with stunned silence from participants who had been certain that Sarah would fail and validate their prejudices about women in combat roles. Morrison's reaction was immediate and bitter. He demanded verification of the target, suggesting that scoring errors or equipment malfunctions might explain Sarah's success. His accusations were investigated thoroughly by range officers, who confirmed that the shot was legitimate and achieved under standard conditions. The verification process was uncomfortable for everyone involved, highlighting the tension that had been building throughout the training program. Several participants who had remained neutral during previous weeks began to reconsider their positions regarding Sarah's presence and abilities. Corporal James Liu, a quiet Marine from California with exceptional technical knowledge, approached Sarah after the exercise to discuss the ballistics calculations she had used. Their conversation revealed her deep understanding of factors that many Marines learned only through years of combat experience. The aftermath of Sarah's successful shot created a complex social dynamic among the training participants. Some Marines, particularly younger ones without extensive combat experience, began to view her as a legitimate peer worthy of respect and inclusion. Others, led by Morrison and his allies, doubled down on their opposition, arguing that one successful shot didn't prove readiness for actual combat situations where lives depended on consistent performance under extreme stress. Sarah's response to her success was characteristically measured and professional. She didn't celebrate or make comments that might be interpreted as boastful, understanding that maintaining respect required continued excellence rather than momentary achievement. Her grandfather had taught her that reputation was built through consistent performance over time, not individual moments of brilliance that might be dismissed as luck. The training program entered its most challenging phase during the third week, incorporating elements designed to simulate actual combat conditions. Participants worked in small teams, engaging multiple targets while dealing with time pressure, physical exhaustion, and psychological stress. The exercises required not just individual marksmanship skills but also leadership abilities and tactical thinking under pressure. Sarah found herself assigned to a team with Morrison and 2 other Marines who had been vocal critics of her presence. The assignment was deliberate, designed to force interaction and test whether personal conflicts would interfere with mission effectiveness. Team exercises required participants to communicate effectively and rely on each other's abilities, creating opportunities for either reconciliation or further conflict. The first team exercise revealed unexpected dynamics within the group. Morrison's technical skills were excellent, but his leadership style created tension and reduced overall team effectiveness. Sarah's methodical approach and clear communication helped the team achieve their objectives, earning grudging acknowledgement from teammates who had expected her to be a liability rather than an asset to team performance. During a particularly challenging night exercise, Sarah's team was tasked with engaging targets at various distances while navigating difficult terrain in complete darkness. The exercise required precise coordination and absolute trust in teammates' abilities to provide accurate intelligence and covering fire. Failure could result in elimination from the program for all team members, creating pressure that tested relationships and revealed character. Morrison's aggressive approach to the exercise created problems almost immediately. His impatience with careful planning led to missed targets and tactical errors that compromised team positioning. Sarah found herself taking on leadership responsibilities despite her junior status, coordinating team movements and target assignments with calm efficiency that impressed observing instructors. The critical moment came when Morrison's position was compromised by poor tactical decisions, leaving him exposed to simulated enemy fire. Sarah made a split-second decision to provide covering fire, engaging multiple targets with rapid precision while coordinating team movement to extract Morrison from his dangerous position. Her actions demonstrated not just technical skill but tactical awareness and commitment to team success over personal advancement. Morrison's rescue created a turning point in their relationship and the broader team dynamics. For the first time, he was forced to acknowledge that Sarah's presence had directly contributed to mission success and possibly saved his career in the program. The experience challenged his preconceptions about women in combat roles and forced him to confront the possibility that his opposition had been based on prejudice rather than legitimate concerns about capability. The following day brought a conversation that neither Morrison nor Sarah had anticipated. Away from other participants, Morrison acknowledged his behavior and admitted that his opposition had been influenced by personal experiences and cultural attitudes rather than objective assessment of her abilities. The conversation wasn't a complete reconciliation, but it marked the beginning of mutual respect based on demonstrated competence rather than gender stereotypes. Word of Sarah's performance during the night exercise spread throughout the training facility, reaching instructors and administrative personnel who had been monitoring the social dynamics among participants. Her combination of technical excellence and tactical leadership under pressure was exactly what the program was designed to identify and develop. Senior instructors began to take notice of her potential for advanced assignments and specialized training. Master Gunnery Sergeant Rodriguez scheduled a private meeting with Sarah to discuss her career plans and potential opportunities following completion of the program. He explained that her performance had been exceptional by any standard and that she was being considered for assignments typically reserved for Marines with years of operational experience. The conversation included frank discussion of challenges she would continue to face and strategies for building credibility in operational units. The recognition from senior instructors was gratifying but also created new pressures and expectations. Sarah understood that her success would be scrutinized more carefully than that of male peers, and that any failures would be attributed to her gender rather than individual shortcomings. The responsibility of representing all women in similar situations was enormous, but it also motivated her to continue pursuing excellence in everything she did. As the program entered its final phase, relationships among participants had evolved significantly from the initial hostile environment. Sarah had earned genuine respect from most Marines, including some who had been initially skeptical of her presence. The transformation wasn't complete, and she continued to face challenges and opposition, but the foundation had been laid for acceptance based on merit rather than prejudice. The final weeks of training would test everything that participants had learned, incorporating all elements of marksmanship, tactics, and leadership into comprehensive exercises designed to identify Marines ready for the most demanding assignments available. Sarah approached these challenges with confidence built through months of proving herself under the most difficult conditions imaginable. The final evaluation phase of the Mountain Warfare Training Center program was designed to push participants beyond their perceived limitations and identify Marines capable of handling the most challenging assignments in the Corps. Sarah entered this phase with newfound confidence and respect from peers who had initially questioned her presence. The transformation in group dynamics was remarkable, but she understood that the real test would come in operational units where she would need to prove herself all over again. The culminating exercise was a comprehensive field operation lasting 5 days in mountainous terrain that simulated actual combat conditions. Participants were organized into small units with rotating leadership responsibilities, forcing everyone to demonstrate both followership and command abilities under extreme pressure. The exercise included elements of survival, navigation, tactical movement, and precision shooting under conditions designed to test mental and physical endurance. Sarah found herself assigned as team leader for the most challenging phase of the operation, responsible for coordinating a complex mission involving multiple target engagements across difficult terrain. Her team included Morrison and several Marines who had become genuine allies during the training process. The assignment was recognition of her leadership abilities but also a test of whether she could perform under the ultimate pressure of command responsibility. The mission required her team to establish overwatch positions at extreme distances while coordinating with other units conducting simultaneous operations. Communication challenges, equipment failures, and time constraints created a realistic simulation of combat stress that pushed everyone to their limits. Sarah's methodical approach and calm decision-making under pressure proved essential to mission success and team cohesion. During the most critical phase of the exercise, Sarah was required to make a shot that would determine the outcome of the entire operation. The target was positioned at maximum effective range under adverse conditions, with mission success dependent on her ability to deliver precision fire while coordinating team movements and maintaining situational awareness. The pressure was immense, but her preparation and mental discipline allowed her to perform with the excellence that had become her trademark. The shot was perfect, achieving mission objectives and earning recognition from evaluators who had been skeptical of her readiness for advanced assignments. Morrison, now serving as her spotter, provided essential support that demonstrated how their relationship had evolved from hostility to genuine partnership based on mutual respect and shared commitment to excellence. Following successful completion of the field exercise, participants gathered for final evaluations and assignment discussions. Sarah's performance throughout the program had been consistently exceptional, earning her consideration for advanced training opportunities typically reserved for Marines with extensive operational experience. The recognition was gratifying but also brought awareness of the continuing challenges she would face in operational units. Master Gunnery Sergeant Rodriguez delivered her final evaluation in a private meeting that included career counseling and discussion of future opportunities. He confirmed that Sarah had exceeded all expectations and would be recommended for advanced sniper training and potential assignment to specialized units. The conversation included frank discussion of challenges she would continue to face and strategies for building credibility in environments where her reputation wouldn't precede her. The graduation ceremony was a significant moment for Sarah, representing validation of years of preparation and months of proving herself under the most demanding conditions. Her family attended the ceremony, including her grandfather, who had started her journey with patience and wisdom that proved invaluable throughout her military career. His pride in her achievements was evident, but he also reminded her that graduation was just the beginning of greater challenges ahead. Fellow graduates, including former critics who had become genuine supporters, acknowledged Sarah's achievements and the impact her presence had on the program. Morrison, in particular, spoke about how working with her had challenged his preconceptions and made him a better Marine. The transformation in relationships was profound, but Sarah understood that such acceptance would need to be earned repeatedly in new assignments. Sarah's first operational assignment was to a reconnaissance unit deployed to a challenging region where precision marksmanship and tactical expertise were essential to mission success. The unit had a reputation for excellence and extremely high standards, providing an opportunity to apply her training in real-world conditions while continuing to prove that gender was irrelevant to operational effectiveness. The transition to operational status brought new challenges and responsibilities that tested everything she had learned during training. Working with Marines who hadn't witnessed her performance at the Mountain Warfare Training Center meant starting over with establishing credibility and earning acceptance. However, her confidence had been built through overcoming similar challenges, and she approached each situation with professionalism and dedication to excellence. Her first operational missions validated the training and preparation that had brought her to this point. Sarah's precision shooting abilities proved essential to unit success, while her tactical awareness and leadership skills earned respect from teammates and supervisors. The combination of technical excellence and professional maturity made her an invaluable member of the team and opened doors to increasingly challenging assignments. Recognition of Sarah's capabilities spread throughout the Marine Corps, leading to opportunities for advanced training and specialized assignments that few Marines ever receive. Her reputation was built on consistent performance under pressure and unwavering commitment to the standards that define elite military units. The harassment and skepticism she had faced during training became distant memories replaced by respect earned through demonstrated excellence. The impact of Sarah's success extended beyond her individual career to influence policies and attitudes regarding women in combat roles. Her achievements provided concrete evidence that gender was irrelevant to military effectiveness when individuals possessed the necessary skills, dedication, and mental toughness required for elite units. The example she set opened doors for other women while establishing new standards for evaluation based solely on merit. Years later, Sarah would return to the Mountain Warfare Training Center as an instructor, bringing her operational experience to a new generation of Marines pursuing excellence in marksmanship and tactical operations. Her presence in that role represented the completion of a journey that had transformed not just her own career but the culture of the institution that had initially questioned her place. The impossible shot that had silenced her critics became part of the training center's legend, but Sarah's lasting impact was much greater than any single moment of achievement. She had proven that excellence recognizes no boundaries except those imposed by dedication, preparation, and commitment to standards that reflect the best traditions of the Marine Corps. Her grandfather's lessons about focus, discipline, and perseverance had proven correct in ways that neither of them could have anticipated when she was a young girl learning to shoot on a Texas ranch. The skills he taught her had evolved into capabilities that served not just her individual success but the broader mission of defending the nation through military excellence that transcended all artificial limitations. Sarah's story became an inspiration for young women considering military careers, demonstrating that barriers could be overcome through preparation, persistence, and unwavering commitment to excellence. Her example showed that belonging wasn't given but earned through performance that demanded recognition even from those initially opposed to change. The Marines who had once tried to run her off the range eventually became some of her strongest supporters, having learned through direct experience that competence and character were the only qualifications that mattered in situations where lives depended on professional excellence and mutual trust built through shared challenges and proven performance under pressure.